Is Jacob Head, and this is for my Computer Science 42IB internal assessment. So I will just go ahead and launch the project here. And when it launches, this is just the main screen with everywhere we can go. So we can go into that play, watch, or create. So the first thing I'm going to do is go into the base game, which is play. So here I can jump and the towers are going to come towards me. So a few things about this is I gain that score that you can see at the top there every time I pass between the pillars. And another thing to just note is that once they go off screen, they will disappear because they are held in a linked list, and I feel like it would be kind of pointless to keep making the linked list bigger. So yeah, basically once they go off screen, they disappear. And as you might have saw there, once I hit 5, it sped up. And now every 10 points after 5, it is also going to get faster. Another thing to note is that I can pause and unpause the game. I just used the escape button there, which works, but you can also click it and then click continue, which works just as well. With this, I can also go back to the main menu. So that is the base game right there. And the next thing that I want to go into is the create option. So right now there's a lot going on. At the top here, I have a score, a generation, and it tells me how many of the population are alive. Down here, I have a save and back button. So the entire idea of this create is to train your own AI and then save it. Yeah, so what's happening here is it created a random population, and what's going to happen is it's going to play 3 rounds where they go at random. It is going to take the best 2 out of that population and cross over their genetic information. And yeah, so what that basically, well, what's really happening here is that it's a feed-forward neural network mixed with a genetic training algorithm. And so when you mix these two ideas, it's called neuroevolution. So we can kind of see once it went to that first generation there, it's doing a little bit better. You can see at that score 1, it's still got 9, 2, 2 alive, score 3. So they're doing pretty good. I'll probably let them go until it gets to generation 2, and then I'll show you how to save the AI. Don't know how long that's going to take though. And yeah, some of those ideas with the genetic information crossing over, that's just part of the genetic training algorithm. So yeah, it will cross over and also mutate. There's that idea inside of genetic training algorithms, crossover and mutation. And for the neural network, what that is actually the weights and biases that are going to mix over and push. But yeah, so a few things just to note here is that it's going to ask me if I try and go back, it's going to say, hey, you're going to leave and it's not going to save. You sure you want to do that? So I don't. I want to save the AI. I can go into save. A few things, if I were to click cancel, it would say save failed. I can click OK, it'll keep going. Same thing with the X. So now I'm going to go, I can call this really anything. I'll call this AI Jeff, why not? It's going to take the best out of that generation and permanently save it. Now we're back to the main screen. So I can go into watch, and I have this little AI database here. This is going to allow me to select an AI that updates with the mouse. What it is a JList inside of a JScroll pane. And so, yeah, that basically means that if the name was really long, it would let me scroll, or if I had a lot of the AI, it would also let me scroll downward. But I'll go with the one that I just created, why not, Jeff? So I can go ahead and start that, see how he does. It was only the second generation, but there's a score of 1. Ah, just 1. Come on, do better this time. I'm rooting for him. Nope, that sucked as well. Almost there. Third time's the charm. Come on, Jeff. 1, 2. There he goes. Get 3. 3. Yeah, awesome. Ah, now he's got it. 5, it sped up a bit. It really didn't train long enough to learn how to deal with that speed increase, but yeah, he still did pretty good. Was that 6 or 7? So I can go back here. And that's the main idea with the project. That's like the 4 main states of play, watch, and creating, and also this main screen. Another thing that you could do is the AI is pretty easy to move around that neural network. So it's not hard designed to play this game. It would be pretty easy to modify it to do something else, for example. If I had another type of game I wanted it to play, I could totally modify it to play that, right? The inputs don't necessarily like you need valid inputs, but I could change the inputs. Like for example, right now I have the player velocity as an input. I have the distance from the center of the pillar, and I also have the speed that the game is going. But like I could move that around. I could say like, what if I want the player's Y position, and then I want the pillar's like X and Y position, and it would learn with that. It would still learn. So I can modify these values and move them around. And so, yep, this is my working product here. I can go back to the main screen.